So you're going to want to have this type of system set up, especially if you have anything where it's like an app or somebody logging in and using something from you guys as part of your business. Service business, you still can do this. It's just going to look a little bit different. I'll talk to both of these. And if you've already watched some of the other videos we have in this playlist where we're breaking down systems like this, we have some for like anniversaries and birthdays and more personal stuff that you want to send out. But this one is more specific to them using your product or service. So we're essentially going to be looking for things like how many active users you have on our platform, or you guys just finished up onboarding. We want to send you like a congrats, or you've used our product X amount of days in a row. Like there's going to be milestones like that you're doing along the way to continue to promote them to use it. And also just letting them know that like you're paying attention to that stuff. You're there for support. You're there to help them through it. And we're going to have a couple paths here too. So if they're not reaching those milestones, it's also a good indicator for your business too, to prevent people from wanting to leave because they may just be frustrated with the product. They may not understand how to use the product. Something's delaying them from wanting to do that. And so if you step in earlier than later, you have a better chance of saving that customer and making sure that they don't leave. So just to read this overview here of what we're going to talk about, this diagram is going to show us how a business tracks customer milestones, celebrates wins, helps when someone is stuck, and offers upgrades at the right time so customers stay happy and the company continues to grow. Okay. All right. So this system up here, number one thing, right? This is going to be towards our active customers. So somebody that you've already sold, they're using your product or service. These are the people we're now going to pay attention to. I would almost say that this system probably needs to trigger as soon as you close the deal, especially if you're going to include things like onboarding as one of your milestones, because we're going to want to pay attention to, okay, it's been whatever, 30 days since they signed the contract. Have they completed onboarding? And if they haven't, that's probably a good sign to be like, man, are they going to leave? Because if they haven't even completed onboarding in the first month, they're not even using our product, right? So like, what can we do here? Are they getting stuck? Do they not understand? Did they lose their login? Like, what's the deal? So I would pay attention to when this person signs and they become an active customer. From there, as you've heard me mention, I would think through the milestones that you care about paying attention to. Everybody's going to be a little bit different. If your service or product, they're going to look a little bit different. We've talked about some that are more around like a product, so an app or a SaaS business that you have. Service can look a lot like what we do with customer surveys right now for my business. We're a service business, obviously. We look for onboarding as one of them. We also try to send something out every single month. We also will do something like once a quarter. Hey, you've been working with us for 90 days. We'll try to do something every 6 months as well. Hey, it's been a half year. It's been a year. So we try to look for those types of things where it's just how long they've been with us, the service that they've been using. Another little cool thing that we do, this may not apply to everybody, but for us specifically, since we're in tech, we have tickets that we will work on with the client. So a ticket for us is like, hey, you want us to build this thing in Salesforce? That's one ticket. And as we work with this customer, they get tickets and we build out those tickets so that we know what we should be working on. So another cool one that we add in there is how many tickets we've crushed. So at the end of the year, that's kind of a cool metric. It's also a nice metric as you keep moving along, just to let them know how much work has been completed. That's a nice one for usually our operational people to pass along to their boss and just let them know, hey, this is where the money's going to. This is why we think we should continue to have this service help us. And I've kind of noticed that just with other businesses that I work with within my own. So like when we hire like a marketing company or a sales company or somebody like that to help us out, it makes me pay attention to that a little bit more, because I'm like, I know I'm like getting something from you guys, but like it's not really concrete. So like, what is it that I'm paying for every month? And this is a cool way that you can do that too. So think through those types of milestones. A common way to reverse engineer this is like, where do people complain? Do they complain about the onboarding? Do they complain about not having an FAQ? Do they complain about not knowing how much they're spending on your service, or where that spend is going to, or what you've done? And if those things come up, those are good milestones that you can form your business around as ways to give them a congrats and, hey, here's what's next. So think through that. Those are some examples on both the service and product side. Okay, so after they hit this first milestone, what we're going to do is basically look at a yes or a no path, okay? So if this is a yes, all right, they've passed this milestone that we care about, then what we want to do first is send out a number one, a congrats email. So awesome, you've been with us for 30 days, or awesome, you just finished up onboarding, or you have X amount of users that are now using our product, and send them just congrats with nothing else. You just want to congratulate them. You don't want to stack this with upselling and doing something else. It makes it feel almost like cheats the congrats, right? Like they almost like, okay, you're only congratulating me because you want to sell me something else. So I like having this one parsed out a little bit more. So you just have congrats as a standalone email. And then I would delay for one day and then send this over from my account manager's email. You still can automate this, but it does give more of a personal touch. You would just have some kind of like drafted up response that your account manager maybe overlooks. Make sure they feel comfortable with what you're going to automate for them, and then have it send from their email address. That way it comes from them, it's more in their tone, and it's still automated. They don't have to think about this. It's just another way to add that little personal touch. If you really, really care, if you're a little bit of a bigger business, what I would add here is maybe a decision to say, do we need the account manager to send a congrats, right? So only maybe we do that if it's a really big client of ours. If it's smaller, we don't do that. So either way, you could still split that up, but I do think this is a nice personal touch. You do want to make sure, though, that this comes across as a personal touch. So 2 ways to do that. There's one way, which is you legitimately have this person email and it's not automated, or you have them send a Slack message and it's not automated. That way they know it comes from them. Or 2, you don't abuse this. So like what I'm saying, you split it up between your customers. Hey, only if it's a big client, we're going to send this automated email from the account manager. And that way, every time that you hit a milestone, it's not coming across like, okay, yep, and we're also going to get this other email from the account manager, because there's no way that somebody's going to care that much to congratulate you on every single milestone, right? So another cool way to just make sure that that still seems very authentic. That's the entire point of this, is building loyalty, building trust, letting them know that you're paying attention. So I would consider that when you're doing this piece. From there, I would then make a decision on whether or not we should upsell. So not every milestone should include an upsell. Onboarding might be a good one of that. Like they just started using your app or your product, or they just got onboarded with your service, either way. And it's probably not the right time to now try to upsell them on something, right? Like they just started using it. We want to get them a little more familiar. It's probably not the right time to send them to something else. So in that situation, I may not want to upsell. But if it is something where we're checking in, 90 days in, 6 months in, a year in, definitely there's probably a lot more time there that has passed. They're familiar with your product or service, and there probably is a good upsell. There could be other upsells, again, that are outside of just time. They could be using your product a lot, and that doesn't matter how long that takes to do. If they use your product a lot, they're logging in every day and they've used it X amount of percentage in comparison to others, there's a strong chance that they love it and they're looking for more features. So whether that happens within 7 days or 200 days, it doesn't really matter. There's probably still a good time to upsell. So in that situation, I would delay after you've done this so that it doesn't all get stacked together. And maybe that's 1 day, maybe that's 3 days. I would think through that with your marketing team, but delay it so it's not stacked together and it's more of an upsell on its own. And then I would send over a value plus upsell email. So this is going to look like, hey, this is awesome. We were just notified that like you've used our app X amount of times, or this percentage wise, you're in like the top 1% of our product, which is awesome to see. Here's some additional features that you could get with premium or premium plus or whatever other tier that they could maybe move up to. This would be a good way to do that. And you're doing 2 things, like, hey, our 1% users, this is usually where they want to get more bang for their buck. You can get that by paying for this higher tier, right? So something like that to stack it together. That's the way I would do that. Now, if this is a no path, they hit the milestone that we're thinking about and they haven't hit this in a certain amount of time, then this is a good place to assess that timeline. If we're talking about onboarding again, and we want this person to usually be onboarded within the first week, let's say, and it's been a month, this is a really good time to look back to see like, hey, what's happening here? I would then alert the account manager that is over this account and then try to reach out to assist this customer. This is another good fail-proof path to prevent people from wanting to leave your company or leave your service, right? This allows us to step in when we need to, help solve pain points. And as a selfish reason that you want to do this too, other than just continuing to make money, this is going to allow you to get more feedback too. Because these are the people you also want to get feedback from, which is like, why aren't you just onboarding like everybody else? Like, what's frustrating you? What's something that maybe we haven't considered? What's another way that we could continue to help you after we've sold you this product? So it's going to also give you that feedback loop where you can pass that on to your business to make sure that you're making refinements around your service or product. So either way, really good path on no or yes. You're going to get feedback and learn, or yes, you have some more opportunities to build trust, loyalty, keep them with you, and hopefully upsell them on some additional features, products, or services that you have. So again, this is something that more or less everybody's trying to do. What I see happen a lot is that the sales teams don't really have a lot of good signals that give them to reach out at the right time. So your sales team's likely trying to do this, but they're maybe reaching out too early. Hey, they really haven't used our product yet, and we're trying to reach out and sell them something, and it's not the right time, and it comes off awkward. Or they've been using it forever, and we didn't reach out, and they've now found an alternative feature or product or service that does that because they didn't know that we offer that, and we reached out too late. So doing this will also help your sales team reach out at the right time, making sure this is a really smooth and natural process for them to sell into. So if you've not set this up, you'd like to set it up, and you guys are making 3 million in revenue or more, there's a link in the description that I included that will allow you to be able to see if we're a good fit as your Salesforce consultants. If we are, we'd love to come in, think through your business, see how you guys operate, and then build this out for you specific to your business. So if that sounds interesting, click the link below and we can get on a call and we'll go from there. Look forward to speaking with you guys soon. Thanks.